production grade project we have. It's a project people will pay you for to work, to deploy for them, right? So today, we're in our third week. We'll be rounding up next week, Saturday. So after next week, Saturday, after next week class of Saturday, you have 1 week to do your capstone project. That's wrapping up everything together. Please write on LinkedIn, post on LinkedIn. Let people see that this is what you know, this is what you are doing, right? Right. I know what I'm saying. You should write. Right. That's the only way people can know what you know, right? Even if you are not a professional at it, like, right. That's what I will have to say. So week 3, we'll be looking at data storage and observability. I know that word is sounding big, observability, but that's what we'll be focusing on today and tomorrow. We'll be focusing on data storage and observability. So at the end of this course, you are actually able to understand in details how you store customers' data. When you deploy an app, when you collect data, when they fill form, how do you store them? All those people that are always on Instagram, on Facebook, anytime you log back in, all the things you uploaded, they are just there, you are smiling. Do you understand? How are those things stored that you can always see them? I think yesterday somebody said, I submitted the project and the project is gone. How come your project that you submitted suddenly disappear? So those are the things we've actually been working through: data, right? And then storage and observability. We'll be setting up database tomorrow. Right, you people, I know most of you have heard of database. Database is actually where you store customers' information in a secured way. Customer data, correlations, how you relate keys, most of everything you do online, right? They are all stored. Without database, you don't have anything. When you log into your banking app, your everything there, your balance, everything is stored in a database. How do you secure database? Imagine you have access to your banking database. What will you do? Right? I'm asking some people, if you have access to your banking database, what will you do? I've asked somebody before, somebody just says that I will just add 50 at the front and I'll just walk away, right? And they cannot disprove it, that where's that 50 coming from, because the database is everything. Then also data storage of other things apart from text, other things. Like in this project, you are working on your project, you are uploading, right? You are uploading. Yeah, it was Ian. Yeah, Ian, you're the one that your application got missing, right? I'm coming. We will look into that together. What happened to the bucket that you uploaded your files that your application got missing? So those are the things we'll be looking at in this course, right? Okay, so let's go. Yeah. So today being Friday, we'll be looking at S3 and storage. And at the end of today, it's not part of it, but it just came to me. Just like last week, we were dealing with a work, and I wanted us to do something real, something we can see and feel and touch, right? So today also, one of the things we'll be doing, and it's cheap. I don't know how many of you already have your AWS account, but it's cheap. We'll be actually creating a profile, a profile page for each and every one of us. The way life is so easy with prompts. If you know how to prompt, you can actually do anything, right? So we are going to be creating a profile page, right? And in that, like me, I'll create my own profile, like a website that does about my profile. I know you've seen those things on LinkedIn. Whereby you see somebody's LinkedIn, and when you click on their profile, they can tell you service, but you click on their website link, like vitreze.com, whatever.com, it actually takes you to their profile page. They will tell you what they do, the services they render, right? I want us to do something like that in this class. It will be cool today, not tomorrow. And at the end, let us actually have a profile page that we can add to our LinkedIn, so that our LinkedIn is not just Dabara. When people are looking for you, they don't even know what you do, right? But when you have this link, I know most of you don't have domain name, but if you're in Nigeria, domain name, okay, let me not say domain name is not that costly. I might say it's not that costly in my eye now, because domain name now is, I think, around 20K, right? Or 15K. If you use Ugo Host and which other one do we have again? I used to use Sabi Host. No, not Sabi Host. There's a sabiweb.com.ng. So if you actually check those sites, you might be able to host your own domain name, right? Like edomdesmond.com. You might be able to host such domain name as little as, oh, somebody say you can get for 2K. God bless you, right? If then it's cheap, Right, so like especially your name, like vitrese.com, like all those kind of names, right? That is the domain name is not taking. You can get that. Number one, you use it to practice. Number two is promote yourself. Then if you go further, I remember then when I was in the UK, after I had my baby, I was out of job for a while. When I was looking for a job, one of the things I did, I just got a domain name, vitrese.com, and even use that domain name as my register it as a DNS, register it as an email to receive email. So my email was vitrese, me@vitrese.com. Like, do you get what I mean? Me@vitrese.com. So most time when people see it, it's like even sounding company on my own. Me and myself, I'm a company. You get what I mean? So, but in this class, please let's pay attention. I want us to do this, whereby we go, we'll see prompts, we'll get, each of us will get our own profile page, and we are going to be hosting it on S3. It's cheap. If you can leave it for 1 year, 2 years, it's so cheap that they are not going to charge you for it. So I really want us to have that being done today. I hope we are still following. So we'll look at bucket versioning and life cycle. These are the things you will be handling day to day. Most of you are into data science. This course is not just for cloud engineers, it's for data scientists, it's for developers, it's for DevOps engineers, it's for every tech person out there. It's for project managers, because you are a project manager, you are a product manager, your team members are talking, you don't even know what they are talking. They are saying S3 bucket, you are thinking of the bucket you used to bathe in your bedroom. No, but if you have this understanding, irrespective of who you are, right? When they say S3 bucket, you are not thinking of your iron bucket in your bedroom. You really know what they are talking about. When they say, oh no, our RDS has issue, you are not going to say, is it radio service or something? No, you are going to understand that they are referring to relational database. When you hear the word observability, you're like, why are they observing me? Am I safe? No, you know that it's for you to be able to observe end to end of your application and what they do. So it doesn't matter if you're a PM, it doesn't matter if you're a developer, it doesn't matter who you are, right? This knowledge is viable anytime, any day, anywhere. Are we still together? So we look at storage, versioning, and lifecycle. Then we look at storage classes and encryption, right? Then access pattern, and of course, I like telling you about best practices. I always tell you about best practices. Then our lab today, we are going to be focusing on setting up a bucket, private buckets, because your things need to be private. Then bucket policy, then the life cycle, then static hosting. Static hosting is where, okay, please somebody just put on the chat that they are not on the WhatsApp page. I don't know. Where's my class rep? Is there what's his name again? Is it Richard now or Edward? Elijah, is he around? Please help me give the person the link to the WhatsApp page. Thank you. Or you can just on the platform, if you click on join community, it will actually take you to the WhatsApp page. So those are the things we'll be doing today. And please, at the end of today, this one is not hard. So I want to see your profile page. It's a big one for you. You know what it means, whereby you can actually give somebody your, can you just look me up at who can I use as an example now? I'm always having issue. Okay, at edom.desmond.com, or you understand, or akindayo.com, all those kind of swag, just feel it, right? So yeah, that's what we'll be doing today, right? Or 4.com, whatever, right? Okay, so let's go. Then of course by tomorrow we'll be going down on core RODS basic. What is multi-AZ? What are RAID replicas, right? Backups. How do you take backup of database? How do bank make sure that our data are not lost? I keep making reference to bank because it's sensitive to all of us. Imagine bank lost all my data and they say, we know you have an account with us, but we don't even know your account balance. Can you please come and tell me your account balance? If not that I'm a Christian, I would have told them my account balance. You know what I mean? If you know, you know, but I'm a Christian, so I'm going to tell them my account balance anyway. If I remember, I hope some of you will still remember, if bank say, tell us your account balance and we'll enter it back, right? Okay, but that's by the way. So backup and snapshot, how do they always keep this data? To make sure that they meet compliance, to make sure that they don't lost any data, to make sure that no disgruntled employee just goes and deletes everything, right? Then a CloudWatch metrics. How do you actually monitor? How do you see those alerts, those log? How do alert trigger? I don't know, it's because most of you have not done your EC2 last week project. You will see that when we're creating SNS topic, right? Somebody has 2 billion naira, just 2 billion. You can't even think far. When you are creating SNS topic, right? Immediately you can I got an alert on my phone. And as the scaling was going on and off, you could get those alerts on your phone, right? That's how you set all these alerts. You see your logs and all of that. But that's what we'll be covering tomorrow. So let's move to the business of today. Okay, why data storage and observability matters. Now, everybody know that data is the lifeblood of any digital service. It should not just digital service, but okay, digital service. Because if you're a carpenter, you don't need data, right? Of course, you need data of your customers to know the one that pays well and the one that doesn't pay well. Let us put it that way, right? But data, for you to have any digital business, right? Data is the lifeblood. Without data, and that's why you see now, even all the GBT and all, what I did, they're all running on data, right? Data scientists, everybody wants to be a data scientist. Everybody wants to be a data analyst. Everybody wants to be. Data is the lifeblood of every business, right? So a reliable storage and insight into how your system behave are essential to keep users happy and protect your organization. One of the challenges that an organization can have is when they don't handle their proper data and they lose their data, number one, or their data got corrupted, number two, or their data got hacked, number three. I remember my early days as a DevOps engineer, our dev server, right? It was a dev database. We kind of left it to the public. And an hacker got to it and hacked our database and encrypted everything. So we could not get one. The God that saved us, it was a development database. It was not production. And the person just put, is it wallet, they call it, the crypto wallet, that we should wire, how much you even talk for a Nigerian company, that we should wire the so and so. I think that it was either Ethereum or whatever. We should wire it and they will give us the key to decrypt the data. That was the first time I sweated in my life. I was crying and sweating, right? Because I was in charge and I didn't know. I inherited the application. I inherited everything. So I didn't even know. But I just know that data is no longer fetching data or digging down and doing all of that, because we even actually set up an EC2 data instance and installed the database. On digging down all of that, the data were all encrypted, everything was useless. The only thing we could do at that point, luckily, like I said, it was not a production database. The only thing we could do was to abandon that database and set up a fresh one and use the backup we have before the hackers got into it to restore most of all those dev data back. So I've actually have experience firsthand of what it means if your data are not secure, what hackers can do to them. And every now and then, we've also heard of hackers hacking big companies like Sony. I think there was a time they say hackers hacked Sony. Then even when DeepSeek came out, hackers hacked DeepSeek and a lot of that, right? So every year and there, you heard of hackers hacking this database. Why? Because of some kind, I don't want to use the word carelessness, but kind of lax attitude when you provision this and you don't bring in experts to follow the best practices to provision all of this. For example, provisioning database in a public subnet is a no-no. Me, I'm saying it, I've done it before, and I'm telling you, it's a no-no. Okay, so what are the things we need to understand? We said that reliability, high durable storage protect against accidental loss. When you store the data properly, it actually prevents you losing the data accidentally, right? Then cost effectiveness. When you properly manage, the truth is, having accumulation of data with time can be costly. Imagine you are now having data of terabytes. Terabytes is even small. So petabytes of data. As that data continues to grow, your cloud costs continue to grow because you're actually storing it somewhere, to be honest, right? And I know that we say storage is cheap. Storage is cheap when you don't have data, but the more you have data, storage is not that cheap. So how do you manage the life cycle of that data to make sure that you don't delete data? Because there are some policies or some, how will I put it down? Some, what did they call all these people that I don't like? Auditing. That they will tell you to go and bring, they want to see your 5 years company data. And you are like, 5 years? They will say yes. Even I think in some, here in the UK, they will even tell you that, oh, we have your data, even as long that you are not with us, we are mandated by law to keep your data for 2 years. They won't use it, but as long as you are now deactivated, your data will still be. I say even for bank, your data will be kept for 5 years. Imagine you have customers that are no longer your customer, but you still have to maintain their data for policy reason, for auditing reason, and you are paying money for those data. How do you now manage the life cycle of those data to make sure that you are paying less for them, where you are still able to keep them, and whenever you need them, you can actually request for them and you get them with time? Those are the things we are talking about, life cycle. Then compliance, encryption, versioning supports regulatory requirements, right? That's what I was saying. How do you encrypt your data? Can anybody just have access to your data? When I mean your data, I'm not talking of your personal data. I'm talking to you now, referring to you as an organization, because you represent your organization you work for, right? And their data security is your own concern as an engineer. Are we still together? Is your own concern as an engineer, right? So in terms of the data meeting compliances and all, it is very important. And for some of us that are in data science and or they are looking into data engineering, data science, you need to actually understand this. Why? Because you keep hearing of data warehouse, right? Data lake. What is data lake? What is data warehouse? It's not just a warehouse whereby they pack data and put. It just it's this same S3 bucket we are talking about. How does company use S3 bucket as a as a data lake? How do they use this? Do you get? And how do they version the data? How do they connect other things to the data? How do they version the data? So you need to also understand when they are no longer using the data, how do they retire it? How do they cycle that data? Right? So those are the things we need to understand. Then also we talk about insight, observability surface, matrix, logs, and alerts to detect issue early. So when we talk of observability, is you being able to understand, to have alerts, to be able to detect. Is somebody deleting a sensitive bucket? So for example, your company, you work for a bank company, and you have told your company gives out loan, and the only way they can give that loan is that the person taking the loan, they will have to upload, let me say, their utility bill. They will have to upload some sensitive situation, right? And they upload this into a bucket, and one of your new cloud engineer, let's assume you employ someone like Desmond that has not done his assignment as your cloud engineer, and Desmond goes and see the bucket. I said, this bucket is too big. Oh, this is where the cost of this company is coming from. And guess what? He press control function alternate delete, right? What happens when he deletes such a data, right? Or he also gets into the company, and depend on, like I said, depend on what the company does. But if the company allow people to store their private pictures, and he sees a bucket, and he says, why is this bucket blocked? How will this person be able to access this bucket now that is blocked? And he goes and made the bucket public, and before you know, you start seeing people that put their when they were betting, the video when they were betting, or whatever. Do you get? At that point, your company will be in trouble. Why? Because you've not even set up the proper guardrail of who should change who, what should happen. And if anything should happen, like for example, Desmond go and delete the bucket, right? If such a thing happened, did you get an alert? Is there anything you can do? Is there a versioning for that bucket? So those are the things we need to put into consideration. I hope we are still following, right? Are we still following? Okay, thank you. It's only Desmond that's listening to me because I used him for example that I deleted company's bucket. Desmond, don't delete company's buckets. Okay, now let us focus on Amazon S3, right? S3, what does S3 mean? I told us in this class what EC2 means. Can somebody tell me the meaning of EC2, please? EC2. Let me even know if we are following with this whole acronym thing. EC2.
It means Elastic Cloud Compute.
Elastic Compute Cloud. Yeah, thank you. Elastic Compute Cloud. Thank you so much. So S3 actually means simple storage service, right? Simple storage system service, right? Okay, so Amazon S3 simple storage service, right? It's an object storage, right? It's an object storage platform that has about 11 line of durability and availability. When we say durability, when we say something is durable, it means what? It has longer, meaning the durability is 99.9999 into 11 places, right? It's highly durable and highly available. Meaning if you want to fetch something from it just now, you can actually fetch something from it. So for context, for you to know, you see all those screenshots we are uploading to the portal for me to see, you're actually uploading it to an S3 bucket. Do you get what I mean? So that is actually the architecture of that platform, whereby when you upload anything, it actually stores in the S3 bucket. Then an admin can actually fetch that S3 bucket and actually see what you uploaded. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So S3 bucket plays a wider role than just that. S3 bucket is widely used by different organizations. Are you a data platform? You use S3 bucket. Most companies even set up a company on top of S3. Do you understand? For example, they'll say, oh, we allow you to upload files. There are some company, I don't know any of you that are photographers here, whereby after you've done a lot of picture and all, you can, it's not Dropbox, but you can actually upload it to the website and you now send the person the URL and the person goes to the website and download it. You know there are companies like that, right? Right? So those people, they have actually also built their own platform on S3. So behind the hood, they are still storing all their data on the S3. You get what I mean? Right? And they are just kind of now portioning it and serving as a service. So even some companies just having understanding of S3, they're able to make business out of it. If you see some kind of businesses that are on Amazon alone, just based on their resource, oh, they have this resource, how can I make it better and build my own layer on it and offer it as a service? You get what I mean? So, but that's actually what S3 does. It's a storage bucket. It stores music. So imagine I ask you to video what you did and upload. You can actually do the uploading of those videos. So it stores videos, it stores music, it stores any form of data, including text, right? So it can store any form of data. That's why we call it an object storage, right? Or like the database, there are some you can't store those especially the SQL is not really meant for those objects, right? But for S3 bucket, you can store any type of object you can think of, sound and all, it can all be stored there. Okay, store any amount of data in buckets which act like containers for objects, right? So when we talk of buckets, you know, I'll be telling you it's not the bucket you bait with, but it's just a storage. Is a container for storing objects, right? So think of it like a container whereby you store your pictures, your video, and not just like the way you have Dropbox, right? Or you have Google Cloud, whereby you store those things, right? That's what S3 actually does. Then objects are identified by a key and can be up to 5 terabytes in size. So you can actually upload an object as big as 5 terabytes. Do you get? So that's it. Object can be as big as 5 terabytes. Any other thing, you have to break it down, right? Then bucket lived in a single region, but names are globally unique. So when you are creating a bucket, you also take cognizance of region. We've talked about region before, right? You also take the cognizance of the region. You are creating a bucket, right? Well, the names are globally unique. So if you have a bucket name, no other person should have that bucket name. So your bucket names have to be unique to make sure that nobody has that bucket name, right? Then standard storage class provide low latency and 99.9% availability for frequent access. So there are different type of storage class in S3. By default, when you set up an S3 bucket, is in standard storage class. What does that mean? Anytime you want that bucket is there. Just like I said, you uploaded your assignment, right? And what could I do? I will just go. Once I click on view snapshot, it just gives me immediately. But as you continue to move on, when you discover that those data, you don't need to frequently access it anymore. You don't need to leave it in standard storage. You can now move them to something like infrequent access class or glacier or even deep glacier, right? Deep glacier. And the more you move them, you are seeing them there that I don't really need access to this thing anymore, but I want it there. So that in case you need to query it, and the more you change storage class, the more the cost get reduced for you, right? So if it's in deep glacier, for example, the cost is going to be drastically reduced. But you cannot just get the data one. If you want to get data from deep glacier, you might need to request for like let me say, I think 24 hours or 48 hours for you to finally be able to have access to that data, because it's actually in archive. You know, when you say something is in archive, that is what it means. Okay, and we see together. Okay, versioning. What do I mean by bucket versioning? Don't I say version 1, version 2, version 3? That does not mean version 1 doesn't exist. The essence of versioning, right, is to make sure that you don't lose your data that you store in a bucket. So when you create a bucket, you can actually enable versioning. So what do I mean? If I put image 1 in a bucket, right, and image 1 is there, and I'm uploading another image 1, right, I can actually upload another image and it's going to be version. In case I delete the image 1, I'm actually going to have a version of it, because like I can always fall back to something. So the essence why we actually enable bucket versioning is for us to be able to, in case of accidental delete, we can actually revert back to the previous version. It's like you being able to revert back to the previous version to get those data. We'll be looking at it in our demo. Then, so why do we need versioning? Keep every variant of an object in your bucket. So it keeps every variant of an object in your bucket. Then you can recover from accidental deletion. Remember when Desmond goes and deletes the bucket that contains sensitive data? If you enable versioning on that bucket, you can recover those data. If you don't enable versioning on that bucket, you cannot recover the data. So recover from accidental deletion or overwrite by restoring a previous version, right? Then maintain an auditable history of changes for compliances. So you're actually able to have this auditable history to make compliances. Oh, we have version. This was when version 1 of this particular thing was uploaded. Oh, this was when we had version 2 of this particular thing. Oh, this was what we did to have version 3. So you can actually see the history of how you uploaded and deleted things on that bucket, right? The additional storage costs, because all versions are actually stored. So one thing about versioning you should keep in mind is that it incurs additional storage costs. Then combined with lifecycle rule to transition or expire older version. There's a way you can actually transition older version to a cheaper storage class, or you can actually expire them. You can delete them. It's not all the data you need. For example, now, after this class now, you see all those uploads you've uploaded and all. I don't want to just keep your data forever. So maybe after 6 months, I will transition them. And after 1 year, I should delete them, right? Because, of course, you've moved past that stage. Do you get what I mean? So that's just an example of that. Okay, then the next thing we'll quickly look at is life cycle policy, right? What are life cycle policy? I've explained it before, right? Life cycle rules automate moving and deleting objects based on age or access pattern. Based on age, like how long this object have been or how often do we really access this object, right? So we can transition older version to a cheaper tier, like I said, infrequent access or glacier, right? We can expire objects that are no longer needed. It is true, it's not all data you will always need. There are some data that you will never need again. For example, you have uploaded your image, fine, but I'm not going to need those data, right? Because even if you are saying, oh, next course, they will do their work and they will upload it. So I shouldn't keep that data for life and like, hey, I must keep Desmond screenshots. Desmond label had to have these screenshots. Desmond, that's why you are the number one on my screen. That's what I'm referring to you. He worked so hard. Of Vincent, oh, Vincent worked so hard to do this assignment and keep this screenshot. So I cannot afford to delete it. And I'm paying for it. 10 years time, Vincent does not even know if I'm existing, does not even know if there's anything called Get Techie Challenge. Vincent is now a senior cloud infrastructure engineer working with Google or working with AWS. And I'm still keeping his VPC design. And I'm saying, no, it's too sensitive. Vincent works so hard. That doesn't make sense. I'm just going to be wasting my money, right? So I can actually delete those data. They are not sensitive. Do you understand? So those data can be deleted. But there are some that are sensitive. So if I don't need them frequently, I can just transition them toward a cheaper tier, but I won't be able to easily access them. I hope we are getting that clearly. So we transition older version to a cheaper tier, right? Expire objects that are no longer needed and reduce storage costs while retaining compliances. So I talked about how, as an organization, you need to meet compliances, and different organizations have the different compliances they need to meet. So these are the things you can do to be able to meet compliances. So, for example, when you upload an object, can you see my mouse? When you upload an object, right? It actually, I told you by default, is in the standard tier. But if after a while, you can actually write a lifecycle policy that after a while, it should move from standard tier to infrequent access, right? After that, it should move from infrequent access to something like Glacier, or there's even, there are different 1 zone infrequent access. Then there is the intelligent tier access. We'll be looking at that, whereby on its own, it actually move the data for you. Then you can now move them into deep archive, which is the cheapest you can actually experience. So what are the costs? Now we'll keep telling you about costs. What are the costs and how do you really easily access them, right? Okay, so let's go. For S3, I told you by default you are on standard, right? What is the durability? That's 11 nines, meaning 99.9999999 into 11 plays, right? Into everything into 11 plays, right? So it's very, very highly durable and highly available. Meaning, I want you, I get you. I want it, I get it. God, oh, this where is this store? It's stored there. Give me, well, you get it, right? What are the use case? Frequently access data. Do you get? So it's a data that you frequently access. What is the cost? Highest cost, no retrieval fee. It doesn't, you don't pay to retrieve it, but you pay for the storage, right? Then the next one, we have the standard AI, right? The standard IA, meaning standard infrequent access, right? Then it's also 11 nines, that's the durability and availability. But look at it, infrequently accessed, anything less than, right? Less than 30 days, like, do you get? Meaning it's infrequently accessed. It has a lower cost, but for you to retrieve it, you have to pay some retrieval fee. Then there's what we call the intelligent tiers, right? It's still highly available and durable, but when it comes to unknown or changing patterns, so instead of you to just be monitoring, just set it on intelligent tiering, and is able to actually monitor and is able to put it in the right tier for you. So small monitoring fee, then automatic tiering. So you see, when you set up for this intelligent tiering, on its own, it knows how to place your data. Oh, since you are accessing this one should be in a standard. Okay, since you are not accessing this one too much, it should either be in infrequent access. You should go to 1 zone, or you should go to Glacier or deep archive, right? Then we have the 1 zone, like it's in 1 zone. That's 1 zone infrequent access, right? So you can still see the durability, right? 99.5, right? Then recreatable data in 1Z. So the data is actually in 1Z. It's the cheapest, right? But it has low availability. Then of course the deep glacier is the lowest, but you need to take time, either minutes or hours actually, to retrieve the data back. Okay, we'll be giving room for question, but let's quickly go through encryption. Then we'll answer our question. Then we'll go deep dive, and I will show you most of all these things we have just said. So encryption, by default, when you upload this thing, when you are setting up your bucket, you actually get to set up your encryption. By default, AWS use what we call AWS managed key, right, for your encryption. Then you can also do what we call the server-side encryption, which you, in this case, you control your own customer managed key. Then you can do client-side encryption, whereby you will supply the encryption key. Then you can actually use your TLS, encrypt data in transit. Then you can also object lock, like write once, read many times to meet compliance. So when you have object lock, write once means that you've written it. You can read as much, but you cannot edit, right? It's like when we say something is read-only, right? You write once, you cannot edit again, you can only read. It prevents deletion or modification for a retention period of time, right? Then replication and notification, cross-region replication. So one of the interview questions I know they mostly ask people when it comes to S3 bucket is, how do you make your buckets highly available, right? one of the things you can do, one of the things you can say is that, oh, set up a cross-region replication. What does that mean? In as much that you set your bucket in a EU West 1, for example, you can actually set up another bucket in another region altogether and do what we call cross-region replication. It therefore means that as you are uploading the data in your bucket, it's automatically replicating itself in another region. So that in case one region goes down, anything happens, your data is very, very safe in another region, right? Then you can do cross-region replication. You can also do same region replication, right? That you duplicate your object within a region for higher availability. That's, in this case, we're looking at availability zone. Then event notification. You have to set event notification. For example, it can trigger a lambda function, SNS or SQS. I know right now it's like I'm speaking British, right? But just bear with me. We will look at that. So this is where you can set all of these notifications so that when somebody creates or deletes, remember when Desmond Donner deleted the bucket, it can actually trigger a notification and the line manager will come and like, Desmond, what are you doing? That shall not delete, something like that, right? And we're able to easily revert back. Then replication required versioning enabled on source and destination bucket. So if you want to do replication, you have to enable versioning both on the source and the replicable bucket. Okay, then that being said, access control. How do you control access to your bucket? You use S3 policy, and we'll be doing that in this course. We can actually use S3 to control access. The IAM policy, all of us know IAM now, we should be concerned about IAM. Then we actually use ACL also to control our policy. What does a bucket policy do? Apply to a specific bucket and object, right? IAM policy apply to AWS principal. Who is using it? What policy should this person use? One of the things we did was that we created a rule, attached a policy to be able to give our EC2 instance, that was last week's course, EC2 instance, to be able to have access to our bucket and download that our code into the EC2 instance. If you have done it, you would have been smiling by now. The ACL, right, is object or bucket level, right? So it's a legacy fine-grained permission. Generally, it generally avoids. We'll see that. Then performance and access pattern. Optimize throughput and latency by following the best practice. What are our best practice? You know, we always talk about best practice in this class. Horizontally scale connection. Issue multiple concurrent requests across preferences. Use byte range fetches, like when you have a very large object, don't just fetch the object one. You can actually split it and fetch it. That's split large objects into parts to speed download, right? Then co-locate compute and storage in the same region to minimize latency and transfer costs, especially when you are like, for example, that application I just told you, the portal we are using currently, we have both the portal, the server running the portal, and even the S3 bucket is connected to in the same region, where it's easily up, like the latency is not there. But imagine I went to throw my bucket in Australia, and my EC2 is in is in London. Imagine now when you click on upload, right? It will have to now go and upload to a bucket in region, to a server in region, this thing, the time it will take and all of that. So for latency, it's good to just kind of have them compact in the same region. Then cache frequent access object with CloudFront or Elastic Cache to reduce get latency. This is actually when we are using that object as a website. So we'll be seeing that we will actually be using CloudFront for that today. Then use S3 transfer acceleration for cross-continent upload. Yeah, I know I'm fast because we are looking at time. So what are the extra features and notification? Replication, we talk about cross-region replication, right? We talk about same-region replication. What are the notifications? We say you can configure SNS and SQS so that when anything is happening to the bucket, you get the notification immediately. Then we say you can also enable cross-account access, meaning another account can access your S3 storage, but you have to configure the IAM role to be able to do that. Object lock, you have to enable object lock, mostly governance mode or compliance mode. Then inventory and analysis, S3 inventory list objects and metadata for auditing. It's very important you understand what is happening. Then there's what we call S3 list, provide using metrics and recommendation. Okay, that being said, what are our best practices and strategy? Enable versioning. these are interview question. What are your best practices? Enable versioning, define lifecycle policy, choose a storage class based on how you retrieve data from it, encrypt data at rest and in transit, use bucket policy to grant access, right? Then replicate crucial data, that's important data, set up a cross-region modification, then monitor access pattern, monitor who is accepting it, access pattern, and also make sure your cost is well optimized. Now let us go to our lab one, private bucket and static website. But before then, we have 5 minutes for question. So any question, please. I know I've rushed through it because we are going to do it anyway, right? But you can go through the recording and you'll be able to understand. But if you have a question, let's just, you have a 5 minute questioning. Yeah. Okay, Chucky, let's go. Chucky, over to you if you raise your hand. I hope I'm calling the name well. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you very much for the class. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Chucky. Go ahead.
All right. I was wondering, to be able to get proficient with this particular topic, do we have to understand databases?
Okay, I love that question. So now our major focus for today is on S3 buckets, right? Then tomorrow we're actually going to be doing databases. We are learning, right? Let me put it that way. They are the database administrator, right? To be honest, as a cloud engineer, your job is not to be the database administrator, but we provision database securely, right? And if you are now, so as a cloud engineer, it's your job to securely provision a database. Not just that, because of course you are the one that is in cloud, you are the one in charge of the infrastructure, right? So if you don't provision the database securely, that's where the trouble is. Do you get what I mean? That's what we'll be handling tomorrow. I myself, as a DevOps engineer, I not just provision the database, but I make sure that, okay, when it comes to maybe data migration, especially when I'm deploying an application, I need to make sure that my application also securely connects to that database and is able to interact with the database. Talking of the application, irrespective of where I'm running my application, either on Kubernetes, on EC2, on any other platform. Do you get what I mean? So that is that. Then a DB admin is actually now the person that is responsible for designing schemas, understanding how the schemas work, for designing correlation. Do you get that now? So everybody has their role, but I'm always putting but. You might find yourself in a company whereby you are the cloud engineer, you are the DevOps engineer, you are the DB admin, you are the data analyst, you are everything, right? So that one, you need to put more extra bets to learn. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. You answered the question.
Yeah, so it depends on, but for the purpose of this, we are looking at it from a cloud engineering view. And we are actually looking at what should the cloud engineer know before we set up these resources. You get what I mean? Okay, yeah, Ian, let's go. I know Ian has been wanting to find out what happened to his project. Ian, please, let's go. Yeah, your hand is up.
Hi.
Hello.
So my question revolves about the use case for S3. There are certain applications that can be used maybe to upload. Okay, for the last time, like which type of applications exactly can be used in S3 case? Because apart from the static ones, maybe an application that consists of maybe a certain stack like man stack, min stack, where they have already even configured the database, everything is set up. Can such an application be used as objects in S3, or it only supports the static codes? And if it is only on the static ones, which storage should be used for such an application where everything is configured, back and front end, and yeah, that's my question.
Okay, I hope I get the question well. So you are asking the use case that S3 is used, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there are millions of use cases. I think one of the use cases I highlighted when we were talking was our own application, our own portal that we are using for this project, right? like I told you that, okay, your own as a student, you write it, you do a project, you do the screenshot, and you uploaded the screenshot. That your screenshot is actually going to S3. But that is just one. Now let us come to most of all these streaming platforms we use, right? For example, most of you are on Facebook, on LinkedIn, name it, right? We upload things every day. It's just that subconsciously as a user, your mind is now on, hey, where am I even uploading this thing to? Your mind is, I've uploaded it. When I need it, I will get it. Do you get what I mean? But now thinking of it as an engineer, right? You are writing on LinkedIn, you just wrote, oh, I did S3, and you uploaded those pictures on LinkedIn. Where do you think those pictures went to? Those pictures didn't go to the LinkedIn database. They just went to an object storage, properly tagged, right? With metadata to recognize that it's yours. Do you get what I mean? And when you are seeing the post, you are just seeing it appearing on the post and you are happy. It's actually being stored somewhere. Do you get what I mean by that? Then sure, the use cases are so vast. Social medias, streaming app, even the whole YouTube we are doing. Have you ever asked yourself that if you ever upload your videos on YouTube, where does it go? We always know that it goes to YouTube. Where in YouTube does it go to? Do you get what I mean? So that's actually many use cases. And I can still keep counting whereby we use object storage in the cloud. You get what I mean? So it's so vast. So if you as an engineer, you find yourself ever designing an application that require not just collecting customer information in forms, but now require like upload and downloads, right? Most of all these things we download, where we download them from? From object storage, right? Anything that has to turn to upload and download, just think of object storage behind it. So anytime you are doing anything, even on your WhatsApp, you send picture to your wife of your daughter plaiting your hair and you are happy. It's actually in object storage. You get, and that's why they always tell us. I think one of the experience I had that thrilled me about data and object storage was when I was in reInvent. I think I've told this story before. I don't know if it was in this class. I was in reInvent and I attended a program on data engineering, right? It's a boot camp. It was a 9 hours, 9 hours boot camp. It started 8 to 5. Yeah. So, and the guy that was coming to teach us, he has been with AWS for 25 years, is their solution or engineering architect. And the guy walked into the room of people from different walks of life, if I could say, from all over the world. And this guy come and say, I know you. When he said, I know you, you know, someone just come and say, I know you. He was like, I know where you live. We know what you do. He was trying to tell us that from your data that you upload that you gave to them. He said, for example, Amazon knows where you work. Are you getting that? Amazon knows how much when they pay you because that's where you go and buy. Amazon knows where you live because that's your house address you do delivering to. Most people do delivery to the office. So they know you are. Amazon knows how many people stays in your house because they deliver to those houses. And when you just kept saying it, I was like, there was something the guy said the man is from Dubai or he lives in Dubai. There was something he said. So he said, so be careful of the data you put out there concerning you, because once you put those data out there, we hold them securely. You hear that word? We hold them securely. So yes, as you are uploading and all of that, those companies actually hold your data securely. So you might feel it doesn't matter, who am I? But remember, when you become somebody someday, they have your data. You get what I mean? So I hope that answers your question. But it's vast, from uploading on Amazon, uploading on anything, any site you upload anything to. You are writing a blog post, you upload a cover picture on Substack, on anywhere, those things actually are being uploaded to S3 bucket. Not S3 bucket, but an object storage platform. Does that answer your question?
Yes. And the other applications, maybe with the backend, does it also still work?
The application, if it's backend, yeah. So okay, I just gave you an example of you uploaded your screenshot, right? Is the backend that now process those screenshots and redirect and just like upload it to. Do you understand? So when you click on upload, there's of course when you click on upload and you click on like submit. So what the backend does, collect those data put the test where the test is supposed to be. The test, those tests operate, is actually written to a database. The test you are writing on, oh, I did this and I did this, is written to a database. I can show you the database, but that's going to be bridge of the platform anyway. Then it takes the objects, which is the image, the JPEG, it stores them in S3. Do you understand? Because I'm using S3 for that platform. Do you get what I mean now? If I were to ask you to do voice recording, do video recording on what you've done, and I allow you to upload video, guess where it takes the video to? It takes the video, store them on object storage, because I can't store that video in database. You get what I mean? So, but on my database, I have a column, or I have a table called student write-up that is tied to a project ID. So all those write-up we wrote up of, oh, I designed VPC and all, those ones actually go to the database. Do you get what I mean now? But the image you uploaded, they don't go into the database. They go into the object storage. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, any other question, please? We've overspent the 5 minutes we have allotted for question. But if you have any other question, you can drop it on the chat. I try to eat the chat. But let us move. Let us move with the business of today. Tell me you can see my screen, and I'm going to zoom out again. Sure, I think my screen is now permanently on zoom out because of this class. So after I will reset my screen back to normal. Okay, so this is our AWS platform. Some of you should be familiar with this by now. See, I'm incurring costs. Always set an alarm so that you can see the cost you are incurring. So you can see I'm incurring costs on this account. Anyway, but that being said, right, we are going to go to S3, right? So what do? Just come here. The search is very efficient. Just type S3 and you can see scalable storage in the cloud. Can you see it now? So this is our S3 bucket, not the bucket for beating, right? Okay, good. I've said it a million times. So our S3 opens up and we actually have our different buckets, right? So you can see we have, this is me, I already have many buckets, right? So I think we've created these buckets to upload our code, right? I mean, if you remember, we uploaded code in our bucket in our last class, right? I think this is another one recorded. So just like that, I have a lot of buckets here, but we are going to be creating an S3 bucket, and we are going to be interacting with this bucket to see what it do. Very simple to create a bucket. Just click on create buckets. As simple as that. I told you bucket name must be unique. So if I put a bucket name that, for example, if I say demo, I shall know that demo is not a unique bucket name. So if I go and click demo and I come and say create, it's going to flag that name has already been taken. I know. Can you see? Bucket with the same name demo already exists. Now, if you get this error, it does not mean that you are the one that already has this bucket name demo. It means that someone else in China or someone else in Afghanistan created a bucket called demo. And that's why they say it must be uniquely. And if you see the name of any other bucket I've created, it's not a bucket that somebody will have. Just like your domain name should be unique, your email should be unique. S3 bucket names are unique. Do you understand? Bucket names are unique. So if I come back to the previous bucket, you can even see there are sometimes that when you're even creating a bucket name, you can even create a bucket name with your account ID. It's kind of made that bucket name even more unique. Do you get what I mean? So you can see I have bucket name. Can you see this bucket name now? You can see their uniqueness, right? It's not what you can easily get. Get techie access prod this. So you can see these are unique bucket name. So I'm not just going to have a bucket name called demo and it will work for me. So we are going to go back and we are going to call it, we're going to create a bucket, but in this case, we are going to call it week 3 class lab, right? So we'll call it week 3 class lab. Now this will work. Or we want to go far, we'll put get techie. Are you seeing the way I created this bucket now? Then I can now go and initially I'm not going to enable versioning. We'll talk about bucket versioning. Can you see it here? Bucket versioning, we can see it here. Yeah, we can add tags so that it's easy to delete. We also talk of encryption. I told you by default when you are creating a bucket, there's a server-side encryption with Amazon managed keys. So you can see by default is selected. But on your own, you can actually choose the different encryption you want, right? Then bucket key. You can actually enable bucket key or disable bucket key. There are also advanced settings. We'll come and look at them. We talked about object lock. How do you enable object lock to make sure that nobody deletes the permanently allow object in the bucket to be locked, right? Additional object lock configuration is required. Details after bucket creation is put to protect objects in this bucket from being deleted or overwritten. We talked about bucket lock, right? Whereby when you enable bucket lock, then you cannot overwrite it, you cannot delete it, right? Except you disable bucket lock again. So, but for now, we are not going to be creating the barest minimum, entering the bucket name. Even now, and also by default, you can see block public access settings for this bucket. By default, it block all public access. Are you seeing it now? Then when we are setting up our what did I say we'll set up again? When we are setting up our what is it called now? Why am I missing my
Website.
our website or our profile page, right? We'll now say how we have to enable it and also allow internet to be able to have access to it. But so this is it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to create this bucket, right? Good. That is it. We've created a bucket. This bucket as it is already. So if I go back now, if I go back to my bucket now, I should be able to see that bucket, which is week 3 class lab get techie. I should be able to see the bucket. This is the bucket is empty. How do you upload file into the bucket? I think one of the things Ian was asking is how do you upload file into this bucket? You can actually use an application to upload file into this bucket. You as a person can upload file into this bucket. We demonstrated that last week. When you click on upload, it will take you to a page and you can actually upload directly from your computer. Do you understand? So imagine you have a lot of things that is slowing your system down. Just the way you upload things to your Google Cloud, you can actually upload to S3. I think somebody please Google for me how much data can you have on S3 before you start paying for it. I think you can even have more than 15 gig. And on Google and all it's 15 gig, but I think you have more than 15 gig, depending on how frequently you access it anyway. So when you have all those family picture, most of you that have kids that you just drop your phone, and before you know what is happening, they've carried your phone on the camera and they're doing ma, daddy, mommy, and all of that. And before you know, your storage is full. And of course, the next thing you do is to delete them. Most time you use those things to preserve memory. Because when they grow up and they are now able-bodied men and beautiful young women, right? And maybe when they carry that video, daddy, mommy, with all the katan or with broken teeth and all of that. If you can preserve those things rather than deleting them because you need space, you can upload them to S3 buckets and you preserve them. In the next 10 years, remember we said this bucket is durable. It can last long. It's not going to go down anytime soon. Right? In the next 20 years, you go to your S3 bucket. Now, in the next 20 years, your son is grown, he's well-chested guy with beers, and he come with thicker baritone and like, okay, dad, I'm not a big boy, I know. You say you, and you go to your S3 bucket and you download those videos, and you now play the video of daddy, mommy, I love you, you know, this kind of a thing. It brings back. So there are some things we delete because we feel we don't have space, whereby we actually have free resource that we can use to actually store most of all these things. I'm saying that because I was also once guilty, right? I used to get angry and delete a lot of that. But now I try to preserve those memory by storing those things. But how do you store them to make sure it doesn't get into the public? So imagine your son become a professional footballer, everybody's celebrating him, like now everybody's celebrating him, and the bucket you store it was open to the public, and somebody now go and carry video of your son that was running naked with your camera and shouting daddy, mommy. That would be the most embarrassing moment of his life, right? So in as much that we want to preserve memory, that's why we need to also understand. So you can see I'm even bringing it down to our personal life. It's not even about how we apply it to organization, how we apply it to organization, and how we also apply it to our own personal life. I hope that makes sense. That's just by the way anyway. So, but you can actually do this. So you can see I have my week 3 lab gets techie. This is my S3 URL. and now I can come here and upload. So if I want to upload anything from my laptop, imagine, so those that they are mommy video, I can actually come here and upload them on that video, and I'll make sure that they don't have public access. Are we clear about that? Creating of uploading. Okay, wait, let me see. I think I'm even saying something here. Add the files and folder you want to upload to S3. To upload a file larger than 160 gigabytes, use AWS CLI. So this one you have to use if you have a file, like to upload a file, meaning they are not saying files. If you have one file that is greater than 160 gigabytes, you have to use the AWS CLI. That's the command line. It's still the same. You log in, just like we have console, we use terminal. I use terminal a lot, to be honest. Just for the purpose of this class, I'm showing you on console. You can use terminal and just do your AWS upload. Okay, so that makes sense. You can add files. If you want me to upload, I can upload, but yeah, we can upload, right? Then, but I'm not going to upload. Then I'll come back here. I told you another thing that if you allow bucket versioning, this is what I'll be uploading now. So I'll go back to the properties of this bucket now, right? I'll click on properties. Can you see? Then can you see this bucket versioning? We did enable initially, but I'm going to go. Okay, before I enable bucket versioning, so let me come back to my bucket again. So that you will see it. So that I not say Victory said it and she did not do it. I'm going to click on this. I'm just going to upload any random file from I'm going to click on upload. I'm going to upload. You must add files or folder. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't add files or folder. Okay, add files. So I'm just going to go to I click on upload without adding file. I'm going to go to my download. I'm going to download okay, Rufus. Rufus is actually a software that you can. I'm converting one of my window machine to Linux server. So Rufus is a software you can see that you can use to build a bootable sec file. So now immediately I upload the object. Can you see it's asking me what storage class do I want this object? Can you see? I told you by default is on standard, right? But I can say no, I want it to be intelligent access. I want it to be standard infrequent access, right? I want it to be zone. I want it to be glacier. I want it to be, are you seeing now? I want it to be a glacier deep dive, then reduce redundancy. Can you see? And they will tell you all of this, like, oh, so this is it. Are you seeing now? And this is the fee per gig fee apply, as in how the fee apply and all of that. So from here, since I'm uploading this application, but I'm not going to be using it all the time, I can even put it in deep glacier immediately. Are you seeing now? But it's going to take like, okay, minimal storage duration. I would have stored this application for about 90 days to move it to deep glacier. So I'm just going to leave it as standard for now, right? Then I'm going to go and upload this. So I'm going to click on upload. Okay, so that is clear. Now I've uploaded this storage, this object. But guess what? I have this Rufus. Guess what? Remember I told you I have this, but someone like I have this object. Then this guy comes, click on no, not this. This guy comes, click on this object. That's despot now. Click on this object and comes to delete it. So these are my files, right? Close this. Guess what Desmond comes to do? Desmond come, click on this, and guess what it does? It deletes it. No, and the thing say, oh, Desmond, are you sure you want to delete it? Desmond say permanently delete. Permanently delete. These people, they didn't pay me my salary. So I need to delete all their data. Now Desmond goes permanently deleted. And it's gone, it's gone. I cannot retrieve back the subject. You know why? I didn't enable life cycle policy. If I go to this, no matter what I do, it's gone, it's gone. Right? But now I'm going to be enabling life cycle policy. And I'm going to be enabling versioning. See? No object. The object is gone. That was what this guy did to us, right? The object is gone. But now what are we going to do? I'm going to come to properties. We're now going to enable versioning. And you see, we are going to upload an object again. Then we are going to delete the object. We are going to see, we can actually see retrieve back this object, right? So I'm going to click on edit life versioning, right? And I'm going to click on enable, right? So I'm going to enable and I'm going to save. Now, if you have objects in the bucket before you enable versioning, that version is not going to be applicable to those before objects. It's only going to be applicable to the objects you start uploading in after you enable versioning. I hope that is clear. Okay, so now that I have versioning enabled, I can now come back to my bucket, right? Come to objects, then I can now come and update, upload. I will upload that Rufus again. Desmond is going to delete it again. He thought he has had me this time, but I was ready for him, right? So let's go. Desmond will say, what did I do to this person today? Why? Because you are the number one on my screen. So, okay. So now we now go. Let's upload again, right? So now we have uploaded. So we have uploaded this object. Guess what again? We go back again. We close this place off. We go back again. Now we have our object in our bucket. But in this case, the object is versioning, right? So see, before this thing wasn't here. This show version wasn't here. See, if I click on show version, are you getting that? I'm not seeing anything, right? Because by default it's turned off. But guess what? Desmond come again. I say these people. He comes, click on here, click on delete. Desmond successfully they say, do you want to delete? Desmond say yes, so delete for me. They are not good people. They didn't pay me my salary. So he deleted the object again. I wonder why I kept him after the first time he deleted everything anyway. He deleted the object again. But guess what? Fine. If I go back to my S3, close this please. Go back to my objects. I really don't have anything. Can you see? I can refresh. I really don't have anything. It's deleted, it's gone, right? But because I enabled versioning, I'm now going to show the previous version. Okay, fine. I know there's nothing here anymore, but can you please show the previous version of what I have before on this bucket? So if I come here and toggle show version, guess what happened? I'm actually able to see. Can you see? It actually placed a delete marker on it. Can you see? But see, I can actually see it here. Can you see it now? And I can still access it like from here. Are you seeing it now? So I can still download this. I can still open it. I can still do what I want with it. Because even though I deleted it, just place a delete marker on it. But the truth is, the object is still available. The another one I want to quickly walk us through is permission, right? So we can actually go through permission and we can set, can you see, block bucket access, it's on. We can edit and turn off bucket access, right? We can edit bucket policy, who should access bucket, who should not access the bucket. We can write policy, we can set bucket ownership, like I said, and allow ACL list, right? Then management is another thing I want to show us, right? Which is what we call life cycle management, right? Can you see? Life cycle configuration. So we're going to create a life cycle configuration for this bucket. So I'll click on create life cycle configuration. What is my configuration rule? I'll just say move to different tiers, right? So I'm going to say move to different tier. What should be the rule? Choose a rule scope. Limit the scope of this rule using one or more filters. I'm going to say apply to all objects in this bucket. So I can actually set a life cycle policy. You know, I was telling you before that there are some things you don't really use often. There are some things you use often. So in this case, I want that everything in this bucket, when it gets to a particular number of stage, it should move from one circle to another. You get what I mean? So I'll now say, well, apply to all objects, I acknowledge. But in your own case, if you set that limited scope, you have to actually set your filter. This is where you have to set filter. I want it to be on just this object, or these are what I want. But we are going to apply to, for the sake of this bucket, we are going to apply. Then we are going to come to the rule. Look at the rules. Life cycle action. Choose the action you want this rule to perform. Transition current version of the object between storage classes, which is what we want. Transition no current version of this between storage classes. Expire current version of objects. Remember we told you when you expire them, you are deleting them, right? Permanently delete non-concurrent version of object. Delete expire objects, delete marker. Remember when we deleted that thing had delete marker on it. So also want to delete it, or incomplete multi-part upload. Or you are uploading a file, something happened, is not complete, you abandon it, we also want to set a life cycle policy to be able to delete them. Are we see together? So I'm just going to walk us through one of the rules. So when I click on this rule, right, it's actually going to bring, oh, transitions, and look at transitions are charged per request, right? So I'll click on, oh, I acknowledge. Then I will go to the transition rule. Choose storage class transition, right? You know, it's by default is in standard. So I want to either move to infrequent access, intelligent access, one zone, whatever, right? So I'm just going to say, okay, first of all, let me put it in standard infrequent access. Infrequent access data once a month with millisecond access, 30 days minimum storage duration. Meaning after 30 days, are you getting it? So days after sub object is created, like a valid integer is required. Okay, when should I transition this into it? Days after object is created, right? So I can say I want it to be transitioned 30 days after the object is being created, right? Then I can add another transition rule. Okay, so after 30 days, what happened? I want you to move to infrequent intelligent tiering. Or I can say, no, after 30 days, I just want you to move to glacial retrieval. And you should stay in this stage for also 60 days. And after 60 days, get what I want? I want it to move to deep glacial. You can see glacial flexible retrieval, formerly called glacial, right? Or I want to move to deep glacial, right? So I want to move to deep glacial after 180 days. Do you get it now? So this is actually how you create a life cycle rule. Can you see it now? So the day zero object is uploaded. After 30 days, it moves to standard access. After 60 days, it moves to glacial instant retrieval. And after 180 days, it moves to deep glacial. And this, I can actually create this rule. So when I create this rule is applicable to the S3 bucket. Are we see together? Okay. Now,
Yeah.
okay, so just play with it. It's nice, right? Play with it. But now I know you are saying, Victory, you are telling me all of this. It's not applicable to me. Let us do the one that is applicable to us now, that we can make noise about, right? Let us actually make a bucket. We are going to create a bucket. I'm going to create it my own name, my own bucket. I want to create a profile. Like, is it profile they call it? It's profile, right? So I want to create a profile, right? So let me see. How many of you have ChatGPT? I don't even, no, I know everybody. I know
Everyone should have it in
I know
our device here. I do.
ChatGPT different from ChatGPT, if you know what I mean. Okay, so when I mean is some are paid GPT, so they give you more better prompt, as in more. You understand what I mean? But yeah, everybody has GPT. So now see what I'm going to do. Most I will prompt GPT somehow, but I'm going to upload my CV on GPT, right? And I'm going to tell GPT that I'm creating my portfolio website, right? That I want whereby when people go to this website, they'll see what I do, what I've been doing, what I've done, and the service I have to render, right? So I want a one page, it should just be a single page, responsive websites that I'm able to deploy on S3 bucket. Do you get what I mean? Okay, so that's what we want to do. Are we see together? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to upload. The question is, Victor, why are you uploading your CV? So that GPT will know more. I don't want to start telling it everything about me. I work here, I work here, I work here, I work here. So it's just going to be easy for me to just come here, add photo of whatever, right? Then it's going to take me and I'm going to search for Victory CV. Let me see if I think Victory. Yeah, I have Victory CV here. So that's it. I'm going to upload it, right? So I am creating a portfolio. That's portfolio, right? Here's portfolio website for myself. I have uploaded my CV for you to know what I do. I am passionate about DevOps engineering, and also teaching. And these are also the services I render, right? Now I go, I want you to create a beautiful, oh, is it too small? Should I zoom in? Okay. I want you to create a beautiful static portfolio website that I can deploy in S3 bucket, right? I'm deploying it on S3 bucket, and I can showcase to as many that care to see. Don't mind me. They should see the services I render, and also be able for where this will not disappoint, and also be able to contact me for my services. So yeah, this is it, right? So yeah, it's in extended thinking, so it might take a while. So why it's taking a while, let us go back to what we were doing before, right? I would have prompted this earlier. So now I'm going to come back to, are we still together? We are on time, we're on track, don't worry. I'm watching time this time around. We'll not take our time like last week again. Okay, so while that is going on, right? And you see the prompting, your prompting can be better. I just generically prompted it, right? And somebody say, let GPT disappoint us. Yeah, I'm ready to be disappointed, but I'm also know that it's going to give me a very beautiful static website that we can actually upload on our S3 bucket, right? Okay, so while it's doing that, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to create my own bucket, right? So this is what you are going to be doing after you have prompted. You don't have to use GPT. You can use any AI that you use. I know some of you still use DeepSeek or whatever. Then just use any AI you use. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to create a bucket, right? And I'm going to call it Victory portfolio website, right? So I'm going to have that, right? Then the next thing I'm going to do, okay, I can disable all of this initially, but because the web is a website, it's a static website, I want public access, I'm going to be disabling this whole public access thing. Can you see? So you see by default it's blocking up public access, but now I want to allow public access, and I'm going to say, yes, I understand, I turn it off because it's actually going to be a static website, right? I can enable versioning so that the reason I'm enable versioning, it's a website. Anytime I update the website and I put a new version of the website, it should see how the other version of the website. In case in the new version of the website, I now make it yellow and green. And after I've done yellow and green, I discovered that, oh, I prefer blue and black websites better, right? I should be able to revert back to the previous version that I have before. I will sit together, please. Okay, so I'm still going to leave it at default server side encryption, and on the advanced settings, I'm not going to do object lock. It's my account, nobody's coming to delete it, right? Well, this essence of this object lock, like we've explained during the theory, if you are dealing on a sensitive bucket or any sensitive data, like for example, if you are in a company that they work with Z-Ledger, customer upload receipts, upload some things, you never can tell where you find yourself, to be honest with you, like the company you find yourself or whoever you are providing services for. So those are the things you just need to know in mind, know the best practices, right? to know what to enable and what not to enable. So I'm going to create this bucket. And now that I've created this bucket, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be turning it into a website. But let's visit Uncle and see if my portfolio is ready. I don't think it's ready. Like I said, it's in extended thinking, right? It's in extended thinking. If it's not in extended thinking, but it says the extended thinking gives you a better prompt, right? So that is the let me see. Would that have used 5.0? Oh, okay, 5.2 is the, but it's in extended thinking. So why this guy is still thinking? Let's go back to our bucket, right? So we have created our bucket, right? And we are going to be doing some things to our bucket. I call it Victory as a portfolio website, right? And we've already blocked out public access. What we are going to do is that we are going to be uploading the object in. And once we upload the object in, we are going to go to permissions, right? Apart from the fact that we have actually say, okay, public can now access it, we also need to do what we call bucket policy. We are going to allow bucket policy. We are going to write bucket policy for that particular, for this particular bucket. Then we're also going to be enabling it to be a website. So if I come, you see where we set up our cross origin, right? We can actually set up our cross origin here, and then we are able to actually get this bucket URL. So that being said, let us wait. I want us to do it step by step. Upload our bucket and see what we have. Is this guy still thinking? Don't worry, we'll see after time. We'll finish it. Oh my God. Hey, this person's prophecy is working. Who was the one that GPT will disappoint us again? Who is this person now? God's time. My neighbor, GPT must not disappoint. Okay, so it's still generating, right? But don't worry, you are going to see my portfolio website, right? So while that is also being said, there are other things we can also set up, right? Apart from actually having a bucket in S3. Yeah, if you have your bucket in S3, you can see, but it's not going to have that SSL and that security. So another thing we can quickly set up, we can actually set up what we call CloudFront. What CloudFront does, let me just quickly give you a brief detail. It actually helps us to be able to have what we call, apart from edge location, it's able to do edge location. Okay, he wants to see the portfolio. Don't worry, you will see it now. See now, my portfolio is ready now. Here you go. I've built a beautiful, modern, full static portfolio website, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that you can deploy straight to an S3. It includes your DevOps plus teaching services. Okay. I even download CV. So on my portfolio website, you can download my CV. Oh my God. Download CV button and a contact session with a working form. Are you getting it now? So plus email feedback. Oh my God. So let's download our bucket. And guess what? It's even going to tell us what is inside. It has the desk.html. It has this. It has this. It has Victory CV. Are you seeing it now? So that's what is inside. We're going to upload it right now. So what do? We create our S3 bucket, right? We are going to upload everything inside the zip, right? We are going to like unzip it, upload everything inside the zip. Then we're going to go to property and we are going to do static website hosting. We are going to enable it. Then we are going to make sure that it has index.html. So let me go and unzip this and let us watch it. Oh, are you people not excited? These people are not excited for me. So download. Let's go to our download. See, you know that we are not all Nigerians. I'm for saying enemy go shame. Okay, so I'm just going to unzip this. Let's see until we see it work, right? So I'm just going to go and I'm going to extract all, right? Let's extract it first. So I'm going to extract it, right? It's going to be my download. And now we now go to our S3 bucket. Remember what we said? We are going to our S3 bucket and we are going to, where is it now? Where's our bucket again? Okay, these are our bucket objects. So we are going to upload objects. And you don't have to upload it one after the other. You can actually upload everything. So we are going to click on add files. Can you see add files? So we are going to click on add files. Go to my download. This is my zip. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to Control A. and I'm going to actually open up, right? And you can see I have my, okay, I need to add the folder separately. I have my index.html, I add the readme, but I need to add the folder, right, for assets. It didn't come up. So I have that also that I'm going to upload the asset folder. So you can see this is what I have. I have my, in my assets, I have my JavaScript, I have my CSS, right? Then I have all of this, right? So you can see it's actually a very beautiful one. Come on, give it to GPT. So how do we know how this website is even before we start adding flavor to it, right? So now that we are going to upload this now, we are going to click on upload. We don't know how the website looks, but me, I know it's going to be good, right? And please, this is what I want you people to do. It might not be your project, but it will be nice if you actually have your own portfolio. I've never really paid attention to portfolio, right? But so now we are going to go close this place that we've uploaded, right? Close the place. Then we are going to go to properties, right? And we are going to scroll down to enable it to be what? A website. So if you come down, it's actually down, 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 down. Can you see? Static website hosting, right? We are going to what? Edit this, right? And we are going to enable it to be static website hosting. And when we enable it, we want it to host a static website, right? First, then of course our page is going to be indexed. You actually saw it. We actually have index.html. So for some of us that have learned a little or done web development before, the entrance page to your web application, especially for static web, is always index.html. Do you get what I mean? So I'm just going to do index.html, right? Then what should be the error page? You can leave this one, can see their optional, right? Then redirect rules. We are going to come to this later. But let us even first of all see if the website is worth laboring for, right? So so now that we've enabled website, do you know what it's going to give to us? We're going to have our website URL. Like I said, it's not going to be look at it, website set point. So we have HTTPS Victory Portfolio. So I can just click on this. Somebody, how beautiful is my website? Oh my God. Okay, so it's forbidden. We have not allowed access policy. Some people are not nice. Okay, so we are going to allow access policy. It's very, very simple. So, okay, let's see. Wait, what is he saying? Okay, we make the pocket one of the approach. Simple allow public read access, then recommended CloudFront. We're going to use CloudFront anyway. It says create from a free, okay, talking about the form. If you want the form to send message directly, create a free form on form space, right? Then open assets on this and put the form URL there. This is nice. If you want, I can also add your real photo. Are you serious? Come on now, right? Okay, so there is bucket policy for website. So I just say I need a bucket policy, or we can just go and generate it, to be honest, for the websites, right? But we can also still go here and generate the bucket policy. I'm just trying to let you know that, so that in case you know, so Victory is doing all of this before she knows it, because she knows it. So if you come to permission, right now our website is not working because there is no permission. So if we come to permission, right, and you go to, so we allow access, we need to also allow what we call bucket policy. Do you understand? So I'll come here and I'll click on bucket policy. We just want to allow everybody to be able to have access to that policy. So this is actually where we write our policy. Remember what I told you, there's a way you can actually add a statement here. This guy actually auto generates the policy for you. Are you getting that? And just going to like, what do you want access to? Who do you want access to? So if you want that, you can see the bucket policy here. This is how it looks like, able to allow you to have access to your bucket policy. So this is the kind of policy we are looking for. Are you getting that? So look at the bucket permission policy. So what is it? Version statement. What do you want? Public gets, public reads get objects, right? So we want public to be able to read or get the object. What action? Public should be able to get the object, right? It should, principal, everybody should be allowed. but what resource bucket name? Are you seeing it now? Which is also the same thing we have here. Are you getting it now? But what is our own SID? We want that. Are you seeing now? What is our own SID? We want let's just do edit. So we want it get no budget. Oh, it's S3, sorry. S3. So this, it actually kind of gives you an opportunity, but we don't want all, right? We want it to get, what do we say? What do we say is the policy again? And you can also Google it. It's always on the Amazon website, the policy that you need, right? So, but it's a public read get object, right? So we want something like public read get object. So we can just scroll down. Where is the public read get object? So I can just search it here, public. GPT don't disappoint also. Not like public read get object. So we are just going to do get object, right? Get object, right? So yeah, get object. Good. Yeah, we want get objects. Oh, not object. Okay, get object, right? So we want it to be a get object. No. You know what? Let's just go to option is S3 get objects. This public read is not true. So let me just go to let's go bucket policy, right? Policy for bucket policy S3 for static, yeah, for static website. You always Google it to be able to see it and see what Amazon is recommending. It's always better to use documentation anyway when it comes to policy, so that you know fine-grained policy and what to do on that. So they ask us to block this, which we have done. Then we should do this bucket policy. Can you see? Oh, public object is right now. Okay, sorry, no verse ChatGPT. So I'm just going to grab this, right? Go and come back here. And I'm just going to Control A, Control V, right? Yeah, this is actually where we put our bucket name. And our bucket name, this is my bucket name, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to change this ARM to my own bucket name. But remember, it must have this /*, meaning everything in this bucket name is what we want this object to get, right? So this is actually what we need. And we are going to save this. And when we save this now, if I go back to this URL that was forbidden before, if I refresh it, I should be able to have access to my portfolio. So you can see my portfolio. See now, the people that didn't want it to work, now that it's working, they're not clapping again. No. Okay, so you can see my portfolio, Victory Eze, DevOps platform. Like, I'm a DevOps engineer, I'm also a platform engineer. That is so much for you to see. Come on now. So imagine, see, and it's all on one site. See, my services, my work, my skills, my certifications. Oh my God. Then this is how you contact me. And you can even change the theme. You can make it a light theme and you can make it a darker theme, depending on what is good for your eye. I think ChatGPT over time knows that I like dark theme. I'm actually a very dark theme person. So I build reliable cloud platform and I teach teams how to run them. Are you seeing it now? Then I'm a senior DevOps and platform engineer with 6+ years delivering AWS and Azure infrastructure, Kubernetes, CI/CD automation, GitOps, and production observability. Come on, what else do you want? So you can get in touch with me and you can download my CV. Let's see if this download button works. When I click on download, and really the person can download my CV. You know what? Let me not just brag, right? I'm just going to give you this URL anyway. And yeah, just I'm not bragging, right? But yeah. So if you can access it, let me know, so that it won't be I'm the only one accessing it too. Someone can just click on it and access it, toggle it run. So I have this. So this is where I'll put my picture, like I'm a DevOps platform and training. If you can access it, just let me know that you can access it. Now, what I'm known for, like automated delivering platform, reduce manual processes, building cloud native platforms and IOC, It works. Okay, thank you. Improve visibility with Loki, Elasticsearch, clear practice, and all of that, right? Then pick what you need from hands-on engineering to DevOps team. Oh my God, see the services I offer, right? DevOps and platform engineering, cloud infrastructure, infrastructure as code, observability, CI/CD automation, Kubernetes, and cloud native. Then I'm also a teacher and a mentor, right? Oh, thank you so much. Someone else can also access it. Teaching and mentorship, hands-on workshop and mentoring for individuals and team. I do for beginners through intermediate engineers, AWS Foundation, real-world projects, right? Terraform and Kubernetes, see what I do. SEO and security, I say my services now. Then selected work. These are just some of my selected work where I've worked. I worked in Tunstall Healthcare from 2024. I worked in African Prudentials from 2022. I worked in Mode in the UK, right? And I've been in teaching and training, right? As either assistant lecturing and all of that. What case study tailored do you want? So you can request your consultation. So you see, I already have my core skills. Can you see? Come on now, come on. Site is accessible, thank you. So this is actually how you build your, so I will just like work on this form and see, you can contact me, my email, my phone number, my LinkedIn, right? And my address, right? So this is actually, so how will you feel? Now, we have how many more minutes to go? So how will you feel if you actually have something like this? Do you know what? I'm actually going to buy a domain name called victoryz.com. I have it before it expires. And I'm going to actually tie it to this and I'm going to upload it on my LinkedIn. I will do that. I'm going to make it well, going to pass, make sure it has a certificate and all to be secure. I will do that between today and tomorrow, and I will upload it on the group for you to see. And I will actually put it, and see, it's a responsive site. Anywhere I click on, can you see? Just go there anyway, right? And I'm going to also put this in my LinkedIn. How many of you are going to promise me that you will do this and put on your LinkedIn? Don't just thumbs up and not do anything. No. How many of you are promising me? I will do it. Yeah, Richmond. Yeah, Richmond. Richmond is reaching now. Richie that his post is making wave. Rich, imagine you now do this. I will. Good. I love that. Wisdom is promising me. Desmond is promising me. Who else is promising me they will do this? You can see. So this is what I'm telling you, right? I was explaining to us. Okay, let me stop this recording. Then we'll just have a minute for question. I will call it again. Oh, Praise said, please. Oh, what did Praise say? Let me see. Praise, I didn't see what you said. Please keep me accountable and I will do it. Somebody, please, all faith, so that she will do it. I hope faith is a she. Anyway, let me know, Miss Gender. Okay. Okay, so we will do it. So thank you so much. I hope we have found this class helpful. Okay, oh, sorry about that, Praise. Okay, yeah, thank you. So sorry about that's why I asked, right? We live in a gender sensitive world. So sorry, I just assumed Praise. Thank you for that. So please, somebody should hold Praise accountable. We will do it. Thank you for that, Praise. Okay, so I'm going to stop this recording.